6 weeks without sex is like really, really tough and difficult, and like shouldn't happen in a marriage, right? Now sex isn't everything. Let's, like I said, when we were going through that dry spout, like, no pun intended, it was hard. It was like I felt undesirable. I felt I don't know, I just felt, I guess undesirable is the main thing, like not attractive, undesirable, like not my first two like boyfriends, or I'd consider boyfriends, weren't boyfriends, but they were like leading me on. You know, obviously they had like other chicks that they were seeing, and so I was probably one a side chick or something. I thought I was a main chick, but anyways, they go with like a main chick to their holidays, or I just like wouldn't hear from them at their holidays. And then I had like two kind of serious boyfriends later on that I considered serious. Again, who knows if they were to them, but for me they were serious. And one would always go back to his family, and like across the country. I was never invited. I was like, okay. And then I went to one boyfriend's Christmas. Actually, you know what? I did spend one Christmas with a boyfriend, and it was like a really big deal for me. I was like in my early 30s or something. And it was like a really big deal because it was like the first time I like was invited to someone's house for Christmas, and it was nice. You know, it was nice. But I remember that year too. I was like really excited to have like a boyfriend to spend Thanksgiving with, because I've never had a boyfriend to spend Thanksgiving with, and yeah, we won't get into that messy story, but needless to say, we did not spend Thanksgiving together, which like broke my heart, but that's, you know, that's in the past, whatever. Fast forward to now, I have like this husband who's like amazing, okay, like just like the perfect guy, and the only thing that breaks my heart is that like his family, they live, you know, in an old other country, but I really wish like, you know, they could all be here for the holidays so we could have like this like blended family, especially now that we're married, like we're officially like this blended family. But none of my significant others had ever come to the holidays with my parents or anything like that, so it was always super depressing. Like I wanted that more than anything. You saw it in holiday movies, you saw it like everywhere. It's like you want somebody to come with you so you can like, you know, talk about the day, you know, like all the drama that happened on like the car ride home. Like that was always my dream. I was always driving that 2-hour drive home to LA by myself, and I was so depressed. I would try and text people, voice memo people, trying to hook up on the way home. I'd be like, hey, want to come over? Because I was so depressed, and like sex was like my way to cope with like being alone and feeling like you know, just not having anyone. And then seeing my older brother, you know, he was in literally only like 2 serious relationships, so he was always had his girlfriend with him. So I'd always be like the fifth wheel, right, with my dad's stepmom, my brother and his girlfriend. I was like the fifth wheel, and you know, to that note, my mom and sister, they always had boyfriends, and I was always single, so like kind of the same thing. I remember one Thanksgiving was at my mom's boyfriend's house, and it was nice. It was on the beach. He like fried a turkey. It was actually nice, you know. Tingle break. And so, you know, I was again the only person without someone, and it just, you know, you just like to have that partner there with you that would support, you know, and not only to like enjoy the holidays, but like if you're stressed about something or something bothers you, you have that teammate that's gonna like leave with you, who's gonna storm out with you, or you have that teammate who's gonna like, you know, pass you the potatoes like an extra scoop or something, or go get your pie for you. It's like, or you know, have drink with, have that New Year's Eve kiss. Oh, New Year's Eve, oh, don't even get me started on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve might be the most depressing holiday for real for me. Until last year, I broke the curse last year when we had our wedding on New Year's Eve in Maui, and that was like so beautiful. My mom and dad actually were there together, and it was a small group. It was only 10 people, and my mom and dad were there together, and not only were they cordial, but everybody was having fun. In fact, my dad and my stepmom went to go sleep at like, I don't know, 10 p.m. and they're like, we'll come back for the fireworks for the midnight, you know, like 3, 2, 1, whatever. And then this girl, like it's 3, 2, 1, the countdown's happening. My friend's showing me the picture. I was like, oh my god, this picture's so good. I turn around to look at him. This girl is kissing him on the mouth. Now, granted, I do think she grabbed him to kiss him, but he didn't stop. And then at midnight in the new year, his first kiss was just like a girl, and I was so mad. Oh my god, I was so mad. So yeah, I threw a drink like on him, not the glass or anything like that, but that was the one and only time. And he just left. He was so mad at me. He left and he did not help me get any of those people out of my house. I was so annoyed because those were all people he knew, and they were doing drugs in my bathroom. And this was a house that I was renting, and I was all by myself living there. I was like, what kind of man just leaves you like that? You know what I mean? I was seeing red. And that girl, oh, she left her purse there. And he texted me the next day. He's like, my friend left her purse there. And then I looked to go see and like her picture, and I was just like, oh no, not this girl. Yeah, so I threw it in the trash, and I'm like, it's not here. He's like, well, I'm gonna come look for it. So I threw it in the trash, and like, yeah, he came to look for it. And maybe that was awful of me, but whatever. I was so annoyed. I mean, honestly, that was probably really bad karma. I like totally feel bad about it for real. Like, I shouldn't have like thrown out someone's possessions. Like, it's kind of like shitty. But I was so mad. Oh my god, I was so mad, and I felt bad about it. But you know what? Karma has got me multiple times for that. So karma is real, y'all. Be sure to like do unto others how you want to be done for yourself. Even if someone kisses your boyfriend in front of you on New Year's Eve, like, be the better person. Rise above it. I'm telling you, if not for yourself, do it for your karmatic energy, because that karma's gonna come back and get you. So always just try to rise above. Like, you have to try your hardest too. Again, for the selfish reason, you don't want that karma back to you. So hindsight, I should give him the purse. I should have wished that guy well. He did come over and talk, but like, he basically broke up with me because I was like, he said I was like crazy. I get it. Also, you shouldn't throw wish so many times, like I said at the beginning, like I could rise above things. Like I wish I could have just held my tongue so many times, because again, back to that karmic energy, what comes around goes around. Like you don't have to be the person to hold someone accountable. You don't have to be the person to make sure the world knows they're not a good person. Like it just has a way of unveiling itself. Like the world like works itself out that way. You have to trust me on this one, because I've been through enough where I've tried to do the one exposing or holding someone accountable or letting people know how someone wronged me. And at the end of the day, not only does it hurt me, it drains my energy. It drains. I lose my power over it. It makes me not look good in like the public eye, right? It doesn't look good to talk like that. And then it just keeps like dragging me down when I could be focusing and using my energy and power on like something completely different, you know? Anyway, that's just my thoughts. But look, if you are someone who's alone this holiday season and you don't want to be alone, you know, hold on, because the holiday season this year and last year and for like the past 3 years since I've been with my husband has been so magical. Our Christmases together have ranged from 2020, where we just sat on the couch watching movies because everybody had COVID that year. 2021, you know, all of our money went into our wedding. We got scammed out of like a huge chunk of money in a couple different venues, from clothing to like wedding stuff. We got scammed out of some money, so we basically had no money to celebrate Christmas last year. To this year, where we can have like this. Oh, but having said that, we got scammed out of money, but we still had a really great Christmas because we were together. Okay, that was the happy ending. Okay, and then this year, you know, we get to have our traditional Christmas here. We get to have the Christmas tree, the lights on the palm tree, and we get to have our daughter, and it's so magical to see, you know, lights and just all this stuff through her eyes, and just like getting to experience that moment. Like, hang on, even if it's not a family or like a love that, you know, a romantic love that you desire, if you just want companionship or you don't want to be alone, like, hang on, and I'll tell you what, you appreciate it so much more. I don't know why we have to suffer the holidays alone. I truly don't. I like think back, I'm like, why so many years? Why so many years was I sad and depressed and just had really awful thoughts? I don't know the answer. All I know is I'm so grateful. I am so humble. I am so thankful for the holiday season I get now, and I would never take it for granted. Like I said last year, we basically had no money to celebrate Christmas. Okay, we just had to go to like a local restaurant. It was